Hey everybody, today I thought I would go over maybe a tired topic. Maybe it's been seen too much, but I thought I would at least present my rendition of it to everyone. I would like to show everyone, if possible, how I at least go about putting a distributor into a yet to be built VW engine. So what I thought I would do today is start with this MSD VW distributor and kind of capture how I put it in the case before I get ready to lay the crank. So yeah, what we'll do here, I'll start by pulling the cap off of this distributor. I'm doing this one-handed, so beg pardon if I make a mistake. The reason I'm taking the cap off is that I want to make sure that the rotor on this unit points to number 1. That's the fundamental thing you want to do when you're putting a distributor in. You want to position it in the number 1 so that the rotor is in the number 1 firing position. And there's also a bit of matching up that you have to do to the gear, the internal gear that goes in the case, and I'll talk more about that. But anyway, so we're getting the cap off of this thing, and it's got a funny rotor compared to what most of us are used to seeing, at least as far as the stock distributor. And on this particular unit, there's a identification for number 1, and I'll say more about that in just a moment. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we're looking at the crank gear that goes down in the case, and this case is my aluminum CV case. I've already tried to get the gear in there and shim it and everything, and so like I said, you want to make sure that the gear is in there, and that the smaller portion of it, you can see that there's a circular shape to it with a slot in the middle. The smaller portion of that, as seen at the bottom of the screen here, is going to face the rear of the engine when you mount the distributor, when you drop the distributor down in there. And so it's easier to tell on a stock or stock-ish distributor. This is a cheap aftermarket 009. You can see that there's clearly a portion that's at the top of the screen this time that's smaller, the circular portion that's smaller at the top of the screen, and the larger circular portion is at the bottom. If I were putting a stock distributor in here, it would sort of go in right like this. There's that offset. It matches the offset in the case, and you kind of just you'd want to grease it up, of course, but then put it down in the case, and you're roughly aligning the rotor to number 1. Some of these cheap distributors, this one is no different, don't have a notch in the rim, which would help to locate number 1. And so you just kind of have to go off of the gear here. All right. Now, in our case, we're not going to be using the stock one. As I said, we're using this MSD unit. It does also have the small offset circular portion, just like the stock one. And you want to, just as we did for the stock unit, you want to lay that down in there with that smaller offset matching the offset on the gear. You want to push it down in there when you're not trying to work a camera, and put, like I say, some lube on it. And then the rotor is going to match. It's going to basically be near the firing position for number 1 cylinder at top dead center. And so we'll do that, and I'll come back as soon as I've done so. Okay, got the distributor installed, And there's the base of it. And the number one, the rotor's pointing roughly to number one. And when I rotate the top of the distributor, the rotor, the gear moves. And like I said, we've got that gear and the distributor installed with the small offset to the rear of the engine, the crank pulley side. So there we have it. Maybe I'll do another video. If you have any questions on this, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. Welcome comments and suggestions. Maybe the next video will demonstrate how to lay the crank. So this is ready for the crank with the rods to be installed, and we'll want to install that crank with the number one rod in its highest position, which will equate to top dead center, and we'll make sure the crank gear meshes with the distributor gear drive. So then following that would be logically would be the cam. So I'll put some videos together. I hope you found this helpful and informative, and it's very likely, very possible that I may have missed something or you know, made mistakes. So I welcome, like I say, any comments or suggestions to help me understand. I want to help others and hope they'll likewise straighten me if I need it. So thanks everybody, and I will talk to you soon. God bless. Take care. Have a great day.